Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1098 of Toronto Mic'd, proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. StickerU.com. Create custom stickers, labels, tattoos, and decals for your home and your business. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Electronic Products Recycling Association. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. Ridley Funeral Homes. Pillars of the community since 1921. And Canna Cabana. The lowest prices on cannabis, guaranteed. Over 100 stores across the country. Learn more at cannacabana.com. Today, returning to Toronto Mic'd is Steve Fall, but not Lucy Di Santo.
Yeah.
From On. Okay, On. I should have put a question mark on the end of that. On. We're going to get into it, but how you doing, Steve?
I'm doing good, buddy. Good to see you again.
So why is Lucy not here? Why did she stand me up?
Lucy, well, yeah, we should definitely make the guilt happen. Lucy was in rehearsals last night and she was screaming too much, so she came up with like no throat.
Like nothing, or just like a raspy voice? Because I like that raspy voice.
Yeah, it was raspy. It was sore and cranky, and yeah, I was like, yeah, oh my god, I can't talk. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Well, Lucy, this is, we're thinking of you, and we hope you feel better soon. And we miss you, because now, as I told Steve before I press record, now I got to stare at him for the next hour. So, but good to see you again.
Good, likewise.
I didn't, do you remember your first episode? I'm going to go quickly, like in real time here. I'm going to dive into, so do you remember at all the number? No.
I don't remember the number, no, because there's a lot of stuff going on this page. There's like, 1,000 somewhat?
This is 1,098.
1,098, yeah.
Okay, so I have it here now. This is important. So the first time I met you was April 20, 420? Really? Shout out to Canna Cabana. So April 20, 2018.
Yep.
And I'm just going to read the description. In this 328th episode, so it's episode 328, Mike chats with acid test vocalist Lucy Di Santo and guitarist Steve Fall about their sonic rise in 1992, the lengthy hiatus and triumphant return to take care of unfinished business. So we talked for a good, almost 90 minutes. And then you returned, you and Lucy. It was a nighttime because I'm looking at the photo. We're in the dark here. Yeah. November 9th, 2018, you came back and we kicked out the jams.
We did.
And again, that was acid test. So I'm going to be grilling you.
Absolutely.
Because I do. So I'm wearing my acid test t-shirt.
I see that. Thank you for the props. That's great.
But you're not acid test. You're On.
We are.
So very confusing here. So let's start with here. Let's start by playing a bit of a jam and talking about what you were and what you are and all that jazz.
Sure.
So I think that the Toronto Mic'd listenership, the FOTMs, remember with great fondness this jam. We'll just let it simmer for a bit, Steve.
Sure.
Takes me right back. I love it. I still love it. We could do like a pop-up video that you tell me like where are samples coming from, who's saying what. Like,
sure.
Where's Prepare to Tremble coming from?
Well, that's coming from Earl Pascoe from Highway 61.
Right. Because this is on the soundtrack.
Yeah, and it was our 30th anniversary of that jam drop. And yesterday I found out from
Really?
Scott Turner. Scott Turner posted on his page on NY history stuff, and I get that sometimes.
So I'm a big Scott Turner guy.
Me too.
Okay, I'm a bigger Scott Turner guy than you. Okay,
you
get the hell out of here.
Okay,
So,
all right.
he bikes a lot too, by the way.
Ah, okay.
But he also had open heart surgery, whatever the quadruple one. He's a good guy, but I get a lot of my On This Day stuff from Scott as well. I'm trying to get him to podcast. I've been working on that for years. But okay, so Now we're hearing Lucy's voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you?
And there's Earl.
What are you?
And how did it come together? I know we probably covered this your first visit, but I'm going to sort of talk acid test before we talk on.
Absolutely.
Find out what's going on. So how did this song, Mr. Skin, come together?
Well, what happened was Bruce traumatized me. He basically, a friend brought me in to do some potential, would you like being hung up? Would you mind being hung up down on a cross? And I needed money, and I said, he said, you'll get paid. I went, all right, I'm in. So I went and met Bruce, and
you're very young, because you're still kind of young, right? How young are you back then?
I was pretty young. I was real young. Yeah, I was young, 1990 young.
Right.
Yeah. And Colin and Bruce, they gave me the pitch. They said, you want to do the cross thing? And I said, well, can I get something out of this too? Can I get music on the soundtrack? That's really, I'm a musician, I'm not really an actor.
Right.
And they said, well, if we like the stuff. So we were pitching songs, and eventually they got one they liked. And then they said, look, would you guys do some writing? And it kind of came together for Mr. Skin. They said, we've got this idea of doing a remix around Earl and Mr. Skin. And so we went into our little spot with Dominic Macri and Chesswood up in the hood, and this is the result.
I want your soul.
Okay, amazing. Now, where at the time, I believe, in fact, I know, I was hearing this on 102.1. So who would air this? Where would this play?
This started with Hal Harbour.
Who's, by the way, in the Toronto Mike calendar that he's making his Toronto Mike debut in September.
Oh, wow. That's heavy. I like that. So he was first, and then we just made our rounds. So back in the day, there would be different DJs would just call our house and say, hey, do you want to come up and do whatever? We were just learning. We didn't know, and so there was so many. There was Scott. There was Scott.
I want the full extensive list here. Okay, so Scott Turner.
There was Scott Turner. There was Doug, which Hal Harbour. There was Danny Elwell. There was May Potts. There was my God. There was the Neil Mann was. I think he was running the gig, wasn't he? If I remember.
Neil Mann. Okay, sore spot with me because we had a party for Marty, and by the way, we're going to shout out right now. We'll shout out the great Pete Fowler, because Pete introduced us.
Well, this Pete was there too, and then so was Martin, and it was the whole thing. It was just every week we'd get calls and we'd just go in and hang out with everybody, and sometimes one would be DJing. Of course, there would be. Don Burns. There was some of these guys would be jamming at the night and say, "Hey, do you want to come in?" And we had a DJ, Mike, and he would come in and spin with these guys, or we'd go in and do something on the radio. It was Alan Cross even was in. Everybody was together. It was cool.
Wow. Okay, so back to Neil Mann for a minute here. So, because I got a bone to pick. I got to pick at this thing. So, okay, well, I'm at the. In fact, I mentioned this yesterday. I'll get back to this in a minute too. But I took this show on the road yesterday, and I was in the Blue Rodeo studio, which is called the Woodshed, and it's in Riverdale. And I was thinking, is this the furthest I've traveled to record with somebody on my bike, having all this gear on the trailer, and I pulled it on my bike. And then I remembered, so the last time I was out east, east of Yonge, was the Opera House for the Party for Marty. So I set up the studio in the lobby, and then people would come to celebrate the life of Martin Streak, 10 years. And Pete Fowler was instrumental in organizing this with DJ Craig G and some others. And I had, Pina helped me quite a bit, the Inside Edge girl, wrangling people who were there, getting Scott Turner to come on the mic, getting Alan Cross, getting May Potts, getting David Marsden, and all these cool cats kind of jumping on. And the only person who said no was Neil Mann.
Wow.
I know.
That's weird.
I know. So there you go. For whatever, and Danny Elwell was there. So I want to.
Maybe he found it difficult just to do it. Maybe.
No idea, but he took a pass, which is his right, and then it's my right to share this story. So, but all those other names, when Hal Harbour becomes an FOTM next month, they're all going to be FOTMs. And I'll just say, I saw on social media that Danny Elwell made a trip to the east, I guess, Nova Scotia.
That made me very happy. Yes, I am, and that made me very happy. And I saw my two friends cooking up again, and I met them together through my work, and it was just nice that we've all still been in touch.
It's nice to hear these stories about like, and we're going again. Is this like 92? Is that about what we're talking about here?
My history
91?
on that whole thing, 90 to 92. I mean, that station, those individuals, I think really were the station. And it was nice to see that those people are still the individuals post the station because they're still around doing their thing and we're still in touch. So it was the people from 90 to 92. And I just thought it was unusual. I didn't know any better. I was just trying to get something going with my band, and they were jumping in along with obviously CKLN and CIUT and all the
well, that's
cats
why
there too.
so I want to, because it's not just so.
Oh no.
So like who on CKLN? So there's we're in the
jeez.
early. I know I'm really testing you here, but because I'm in the early process of a shout out to VP of Sales, a micromentary on CKLN, and I'm just curious if you have any recollection of who or CIUT.
Yeah, well, I get people crossed, but I mean Bookman and of course David James, those two individuals were instrumental with us. I keep getting those two stations confused because I was a Halifax boy and I was like, I would get the wrong person at the wrong station, but those two individuals were always around with us.
Oh yeah, they just dedicated a plaque to Bookman at the Horseshoe Tavern. So
and my buddy James, he's always around. He comes to our shows, and David has always been a supporter.
Would he be a good Toronto Mike guest?
He would be a great Toronto Mike.
Well,
guest.
we can make that happen. I'm all into the I'm just.
Oh yeah, he would be. He's a musicologist of indie punk rock. He's the guy.
I'm in hardcore like story collection mode. You have no idea what's going on here. Like I had this like vision of like the whole mind map of everything and how it all connects, and I realized it's going to take me several decades and thousands of conversations, but
I like it.
No one else is doing it. I'm doing it.
That's definitely yeah.
Okay, and that's why you're here. Okay,
absolutely.
So acid test. Please name check the the members of Acid Test when you were that are still with us here.
Sure. Okay. So Acid Test at present is Lucy and myself, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty much Lucy's band.
Yeah, I was wondering how that works. Okay, so Acid Test and who are the original members of Acid Test?
Well, the original members were Lucy, myself, and then there was an a la carte for a while. It was just myself, Lucy, and then Dominic in the studio. And Dominic was kind of like a third guy, and then he's like, I don't want to take this live, so you got to get a lineup. So that was always the quest. And then the first proper lineup was Adam Percy, who's got his own project called Avro now, and then there was Jim Alty. His nickname was Tree because he was 6'8". That was our drummer. But prior to that was Pauline Herlock, our original drummer, mind-blowing drummer. She ended up playing out with Real Tech. And then, of course, Mike DJ Just Right, who passed away tragically in 2012. Right. And when we got back together for our reunion and record, that record, Just Right, was dedicated to him.
So Acid Test, I'm curious where On comes from. So
Sure.
What is here? This is the question of the day. You ready? You sitting down? Ready,
I am.
Steve? Okay.
I am.
What the hell is the difference between Acid Test and On, which, by the way, it's all caps, right? On, O-N.
All caps, yeah.
Okay, all caps. We should almost call this band All Caps On.
If we could.
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is we got off touring in 94. I'm dating things, but when we got off tour in 94 with Acid Test, we were pretty fried. We all separated. We just was on a hiatus, never really officially broke up. And
it was expensive to tour, right? This is the tour where you just basically couldn't afford to do it anymore.
No, couldn't afford it. Yeah, back in the day, it was like labels would have to pay for everything, and and then you would go and you're used to having a crew and your van and gas in the tank, the whole thing. It's the same as today. It's probably today it's even worse.
But you would pay for it at the end of the day anyways. That's the gimmick, right?
That's the gimmick. Yeah, that's the idea. But you had a little bit of an arm. Like a check would come in and you go, okay, let's go. And when that runs out, you're like, oh, we got to do this ourselves. Okay, well, let's just break up.
Right.
Lucy and I missed it, and she said, I want something fresh. I just want to like strip everything down. You play guitar, I play bass and sing. Let's just like get a drummer and rock. And I said, okay. And she goes, I just want something to the point. You know when you jump on stage and you're just like you're together and you're just on. She goes, so that's the name of the band. I went, okay.
So because in my little brain, I decided it was some tribute to the province you now live in. But
well, we've been getting that. It's kind of fun. And it kind of is, maybe. It kind of can go there. Like
because Lucy's she's a Toronto gal, right?
She is.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're the Maritimer.
I am the Maritime transplant. Yes.
Transplant here.
Yes.
When was the last time you went home, by the way?
Well, I'm trying to remember.
Is it pre-COVID?
It was the break. I mean, there was COVID was like a storm. Like it was like 2 or 3. Like so, there was a break in one of the weather. I sort of say, and I decided I got a car. That I bought a new car. I treated myself. That's it. I'm driving to Halifax straight. So I did. So I drove. I did a bread.
When
and
you say
breakfast.
straight, though, you don't mean straight. You mean like you slept somewhere a couple.
Oh, I slept. I made it as far as New Brunswick. I
Really?
Yeah, man. I went in.
Wow.
I found a B&B on the road and went, okay, I'm coming in. And I booked it off the side of the road, and I just drove. And then I went in to see my sister. My sister said she needs her bro, so I went and stayed there for a couple of weeks and saw her.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. You could be there for her, for sure. Okay, so then, so I know you've answered the question, but I feel like I need a little more here. So
Sure.
is it the rebrand, right? Because
Yeah.
typically, you're better to stick with the name Acid Test, I would think.
We still have that, and you see, there's something that's leading to this. I guess I could drop it maybe like on acid, but the idea is
Right.
that we would take the live jams of On and then remix them and maybe become something else. So that's
Okay, so
kinda-
they can kind of like there can be like a symbiotic relationship here where they feed each other sort of
that's
deal.
the idea.
And
Yeah.
it's the same human. Well, actually, it's not because I know On as a trio. So I know
Yeah.
also because I learned this back in school that you and Lucy are a duo because there's only two of you. So who is
right.
the third member of On?
The third member is Dan Cornelius, and he's been with us since the beginning. Dan went on to have a wonderful, fabulous career playing with everybody, like drummers do. He would pay his rent with playing drums. He would play with all kinds of different, classic rock cats, and eventually he found his way onto Danko Jones for a while and did that. Yeah, and then he came back to end up residing in New York City. He's still there, and he writes music for film and television and soundtrack stuff, and plays with On. And this is all he needs, and I'm very happy.
Okay, so now you're a trio. It's you,
Yeah.
Lucy, and Dan
Reunited.
Cornelius. Not to be confused with the late, great Don Cornelius. That was
No.
a different guy. Okay, so you mentioned New York City. Now, so we're going to hear some On and talk about, the sound being different and the influences and all that jazz, right? And how, COVID plays a role in all this. We got a lot of ground to cover here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to just pause that to talk to you about my day yesterday, okay? So this is me sharing my story yesterday. So yesterday, I was invited to the Woodshed, which is the Blue Rodeo studio, for a sit down with Jim Cuddy.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and it came together because when not too long ago, a few weeks ago, Steve Waxman and Kevin Shea came over to tell me stories about being like music account reps or whatever it's called in the music, A&R reps, whatever it's called. When you
Love
know,
those guys. Those guys are cool.
They're both,
Solid guys.
great stories. Steve Waxman opens by saying that when he was with Warner, because he's no longer with Warner, but when he was with Warner...
Who is? I'm not there. Nobody's there.
Somebody's there because
Is there Warner? Is there still a Warner? I don't know.
Yeah, there is a still Warner.
Is there?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, because they linked me to the Blue Rodeo bio page on the Warner website or something, and I was like, I don't need this. Like, who do you think you're talking to? Do you think I need to read the Blue Rodeo bio from Warner Music? Please, this is Toronto Mike. I know what I'm doing here. Okay, but where am I here? Oh yeah. So Steve Waxman's like, yeah, back in the day, he wrote me about Jim Cuddy appearing on Toronto Mic'd, and I never replied. This was the story that Steve shared.
Oh.
So we're in real time here. I'm hearing the story, which is I know is 100%.
So you pulled a Neil.
No, that's it. I did not pull a Neil.
Okay.
If you were offering me an artist I had never heard of and don't like or don't care about, I would still write you a polite reply, like thanking you for the offer. Like, I'm not sure it's a good fit, but keep me in mind for other artists. Like, I would do something like that. Like,
You're always good that way. Yeah.
100% of the time.
Yeah,
I would,
you are.
even if you pitched me the worst idea ever.
I will
like,
support you with that. You've always been that way.
Hey,
Yeah.
can I come over and fart on your microphone for half an hour? I would write you back and go, Fred, that's a great idea. I love your creativity with this. I'm not sure it's the right fit for me in my current project here, but I wish you so much luck. Maybe farting on KISS or Virgin Radio or maybe CHFI. I don't know, but you get a nice reply, like 100% of the time. So I'm live with Steve Waxman, so I go into my Gmail. I haven't deleted, whenever Gmail arrived, I think it might be 2004 or something like that. But I haven't deleted one because I have so much storage. So I search for Waxman. I see all these emails, and there's nothing personalized. There's one email ever personalized, and it was Steve asking if he can add me to his email list so he could send me basically promotional stuff. Like, there's never anything from Steve Waxman over the years ever personalized other than that one email, which I replied to with something like, it would be great to get some Warner musicians on Toronto Mike. And then he never replied to that. Like, this is the true story, okay? So I think Steve felt bad about this. So he reached out to the current guy named Adam, I believe, a current Warner rep for Blue Rodeo, and basically helped connect me with him so that I could get Jim Cuddy on Toronto Mike. So that happened yesterday. So I'm here to say, okay, so I arrive. A lovely lady named Jude opens the door, and I bring in my bike, and now I'm alone setting up my studio in the studio, and I'm taking some pictures, and I'm like, it's a cool scene. Like,
Absolutely.
It's a cool vibe there. I dug it. But then at some point, Jim, I don't know, 1 o'clock, Jim comes down the stairs. He walks in. We say hi to each other. He sits down. So I'm now going to do my thing, which I've done 1,000 times, right? Right. Okay. So, and I haven't listened back yet, but in the room, the first 5, 7, 8 minutes of this, I'm getting like one-syllable answers from Jim, and I get the feeling Jim's like not in the mood. I'm not going to say he's grumpy because he's a lovely man. So, but he was like one-word answers, almost like he's not sure what this is and what's going on, but he's not into it yet. Like, and I decided in my head, like, okay, I'll carry the load at the beginning, and then hopefully he loosens up and we can hear more Cuddy and less Toronto Mike. So I just start telling the origin story of how it came to be. I talk about, I don't know, I think I tell a story about Mike Boguski playing Diamond Mine in my backyard, and I start telling a few stories like this.
Good stories.
Yeah, and then I decide, okay, I'll play some like real pre-Blue Rodeo stuff with him and Greg, the Hi-Fis, they were called. This is like late 70s. So I throw on that jam, and he starts his face. I see his face. I didn't record the video there, but he starts to like light up. Like,
Awesome.
You ever see these videos of like guys who are suffering from like dementia or Alzheimer's or something, and then you play like the song they loved when they were a teenager, and then the eyes have light in them, and then they smile, and then next thing you know it, they're back. It's almost for a moment in time, they're back. It's like magic. And then Jim Cuddy, who just one-syllable answers. I'm like, oh my goodness, like I came a long fucking way. I rode my bike with like 100 pounds of gear in the back. It was like 20K to get there, and a lot of it on Logan, you're going uphill from the lake. You're going uphill to get up to like Danforth or whatever.
That's a hike.
It's a hike, and I was hot and sweaty and tired, and I'm now here to talk to Jim fucking Cuddy from Blue Rodeo, and he's not. I'm not feeling it from him, but that jam, he wakes up. Like I saw it. I saw the moment, and then he gave a very thoughtful and detailed answer, and then for the next 80 minutes. He's amazing.
Awesome.
I think it's great. So I don't know how it'll sound for FOTMs who listen back. I'm actually now curious. I'm going to go listen back. But in the room, it was a rough start. And then it totally, and there's no editing. I didn't edit a stitch. In fact, I needed water because I was hot and sweaty, and I need water. And I just threw on a Blue Rodeo jam and went and got water from the water cooler.
What music brought a musician in to speak, which is, I think, what he probably wanted, which is good.
Yeah, and I think he was a bit surprised to hear Hi-Fis. Like, I think maybe
you did your research.
It wasn't going to be like I did. My second jam was Try, so I think he's like, oh, the first jam is always Try. Did you know, Steve? I don't know. Were you ever a Blue Rodeo fan?
Of course.
So when, like, what's the first Blue Rodeo song you remember?
Well, it probably would have been that commercially, but I remember seeing them in the clubs before the records, and I mean, it was just everywhere. I mean, it was. You know, I grew up seeing those guys on the scene, those guys and Neon Rome and Change of Heart, and of course.
Oh my God! So you heard the Ian Blurden episode?
Of course I did. I as soon as I hit my keyboard, oh my God!
You know, he was great.
Ian's awesome.
Ian was great. That was a backyard episode recently, and then you mentioned you were going to say Pursuit of Happiness, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Mo was great.
Absolutely.
And even Neon Rome.
Oh yeah.
Who's the guitarist?
Memory fades.
Al.
Yeah.
Nolan.
Yes. Well,
is it Al Nolan?
Well, Al's a singer. Al's a singer from Trigger Happy. But would that be a different?
Was he also Neon Rome? Okay. Was John Bora maybe? Was John Bora in a Neon? Okay.
That name sounds familiar. Again, it's foggy.
Because then he also was in Change of Heart. I think there's a lot of.
But I used to play my first few shows when I came on the scene with a hippie band called It. I played with Change of Heart, and I played with the Neon Rome. All those guys, Jellyfish Babies, way back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So when you reference Blue Rodeo, that's what I think of. And then when it did
he went, and I thought it was very eloquent because he recently passed away. But Handsome Ned, he really gave a lot of credit. And I thought of the Jim Cuddy. The reason I paused you is because you mentioned that your drummer Dan is based in New York City. But is he Canadian?
He is. Well, see, Dan was born in England, but he is Canadian, and I met him in Canada, and then of course he moved to New York. So now he's all three. He's a triad.
He's got them all. Okay, because the Blue Rodeo origin story is very interesting when you get the real details from Jim, where you hear like, okay, so this band is struggling, not really happening here. I'm thinking the High Fives or whatever, and then they go to New York City. Like they're going to go to New York City, the Big Smoke. No, we're the Big Smoke. They're the Big Apple. Okay, got to keep these right. So he's in New York City, and they, I think things happen there, but then they come back because it didn't completely happen there. He comes back, but because they were in New York and they came back, Jim felt like the band had this this cred, this like street cred, like it was a completely different respect factor and everything for the band because they went to New York and came back. It's this Canadian mentality that like, like the States is this big, better place or whatever. And then on the return, and then he really, really gave a lot of praise to Handsome Ned. I'm wondering if you, did you have any interactions with Handsome Ned?
Not directly, but I mean, obviously know about him and respect, but yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Are you in the mood now to hear some On?
I'm in the mood.
Sure. I'm always. By the way, that's search engine wise.
I'm a fan of my band.
You're a fan of your band.
Yeah.
All right. So let's hear some, and then we'll talk about it further. Here we go.
Countdown started. Get set, get right on it. Never mind the doubters. Flip the script about it. Over and above it. Yeah, you got the flow. Hold out, move out, no sentimental burnout. Short-handed goal shootout. Cinderella's not out. Still in it, contender. Ultimate defender. Yeah, you're in the groove. Laser focus. Stinging eyes. No past glory. Yeah, we gotta forget the hype and let go. Against our odds and still, I don't know why, but this is how we never, ever, never give up on it. Ever, never forget what gets you through this round. Round. Fallout, not out.
Steve, this is a jam right here, buddy.
Oh yeah, it's rocking.
In this song, actually, just remember this. If you remember no other names from this conversation, this is Underdog. And that's like, what is that? Is that the name of the album too?
It's a self-titled album that's coming out in September 16th. But this is our first single, and the song actually is referencing the Leafs, who haven't won a cup since '67, and that's actually in the lyric. So when we wrote the jam, Lucy's like, "Listen, man, this reminds me of the Leafs." And so she's like, now that we got this done and we have to do some promo on it, she's like, can we pitch this to like Maple Leafs Entertainment Limited and get it on that TV show, that's always on, that Warner owns on national television? I said, I don't know. So,
Well, the problem is they're not underdogs. That's the problem
That's
with
the
me.
problem.
That's the problem. They're just
Yeah.
underachievers.
That's
You need to rename the song Underachiever.
I think that's actually not a bad
Like
idea.
look at if you think about if you
Maybe
name
we'll
out,
get it. Maybe we'll get it then.
These are the top 10 paid players in the NHL.
Oh, yeah.
You got like 4 Leafs on there.
Yeah.
Like this is not an underdog make. This is we spend we spend the cap essentially.
Yeah.
We just underachieve every.
Yeah, they're
single
overdog.
year.
They're
Man, okay, we'll get a little Leafs talk in at the end here, but
Sure.
okay. So I'm hearing this in the headphones.
Yes.
It sounds like the music I listened to in the 90s and loved, and I still come back to that music, but it's got a very like just balls to the wall 90s rock. Like let me know like the inspirations, what music inspired this sound from On, and tell me anything you can about Underdog.
Sure. Okay. Well, basically, it's more direct. It's more direct with me being a guitar player, and I really wanted to make a guitar record. So for me, it was you're pissed off sometimes, and so it just sort of came out that way with the three of us just writing. And we have such chemistry, the three of us. We've been together on and off as On for years in different projects. We would break off and go on and do other things, and we all write the arrangements, we all work on parts. So it's
yeah, and the guitar's great in that jam. And I just remembered as we were talking that FOTM Stacy Thompson was telling me that you were teaching her how to play guitar.
Yes. She. So I teach guitar lessons. I still have that. I have my studio set up where I can do it online or I can do it in person. And even when I'm on the road, if I'm doing shows or whatever, if I'm writing in a different place, I will still teach online. So it's my gig.
How did her lessons go?
Great. She's a pretty good guitar player. Yeah, she knows how to play some AC/DC and some rock stuff. She knows scales and she's got good technique. Yeah, she can jam some. She can hold down a rhythm. Yeah.
Here's a question. So have you ever? I mean, you can teach guitar to anyone, I suppose, but have you ever said, "Hey, man, like you got the wrong hands for guitar"? Like I feel like. The great virtuoso guitarists, they seem to have these longer fingers.
No. The hand size has nothing to do with it. As long as your fingers aren't broken like me when I used to play hockey. But yeah, you're all right. As long as you get your technique 1, 2, 3.
I would
4.
love to learn to play guitar. I don't know if
you should pop over, drive your bike over, and we'll do a crack.
You're in
at
Etobicoke, right?
I'm in North York. So,
North York.
So
I would ride to North York.
You could get there. Yeah, you could get there.
Shout out to my buddy Mark Carey. I go to North York to visit him all the time.
You go.
Okay, so Underdog. So you want to name check some some bands maybe that influenced the sound of On?
Yeah, I guess sure. I mean,
only if it's relevant. I mean,
yeah, no, that's sure. We always loved the Pixies.
Yeah,
we were totally into those guys. Some heavier stuff. Coming up after the fact, we got to be friends with the guys in Quicksand and real good buddies of ours, and ex-member Tom Capone, who's in a band called Blood Clot. We've always been relative to the scene. Like we've been influenced by sometimes like guys that we're on the scene with. So I would sort of lean towards that kind of stuff.
And there's a tour to come. So I know there's an Underdog tour at some point. But,
there is. Yeah.
So give me some details on where can we see
Sure.
On?
Okay, so if you want to check out our socials, onmusic.ca, that's where you can find where we're at. You can also go...
I'm surprised that was at oast.ca. Okay, because I was thinking it's amazing that's available, but probably because it's on CA.
We got lucky. Yeah, the CA was lucky for us to get that. So we point people there, but we also have a YouTube video that's kind of blown up a bit. We're pretty excited about it. So you can, if you put in YouTube On Underdog, you should be able to find the video. We're doing a little bit of a campaign where we're directing people towards that, and we've got the record coming out in late September, and right now that single is out. We've actually been doing some good traction in Europe, funny enough, with some radio play over there. We're number 3 in Ireland on an indie chart, which we're excited about. So the plan now is to do our Ontario stuff, do our touring here, and eventually, if we can, try and find an agent and get over to Europe and do our first European thing.
Oh, amazing. I mean, Danko Jones used to live off those European adventures.
Yeah.
So your drummer knows that well.
Oh,
okay.
he does. Yeah.
I'm sure that you're working on it, but there's got to be like grants, right? Government grants.
There are. We got turned down for one.
What?
They said we had a record out. We didn't. They said we would try to get a little bit of money for this tour that we have coming up right now for Ontario, which we're self-funding, by the way, and we booked it with our friends and Kyle Kay and different people. And we didn't get the grant.
And I mean, some of just to name check some of the cities that'll be lucky enough to get the Underdog tour.
So Saturday we're in Paris, Ontario to Jeep Fest. We've got that. That's our little warm-up thing. And then from there we keep moving east. Kingston on the 18th, 19th, Ottawa, 20 is Toronto at the Dakota Tavern. We got to have plug that
so
one.
August 20?
August 20.
My wife's birthday.
You got to come out then. You have no excuses.
Okay, yeah. So August 20, you're playing Toronto.
Yep. Then 23, we have up in Barrie an acoustic show at Flying Monkey. We're going to be broadcasting that on Facebook Live.
Wow.
Yeah. And then 25 is 25 is Cambridge with Misconduct and By Octopi and a number of other bands. 26 is Hamilton, and then 27 is London.
Okay, very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm gonna with that YouTube video you checked there, the Underdog video. I'll embed that video in the TorontoMike.com
Lovely. That
link.
would be great
for sure for this episode. And I'm gonna play another On song, but we're gonna do a gift exchange. You ready for a gift exchange?
I am.
This is cool. Okay, so Steve Fall,
Yes.
do you enjoy Italian food?
I love Italian food. Yes, I do.
Because Fall's an Italian name, right? Fall.
Yeah, it is, It's got that Irish-Italian thing.
But regardless, I don't have an Italian name either, but man, that's my favorite food in the world.
Oh,
So
me too. Yeah.
if you want authentic Italian food, our friends at Palma Pasta will take care of you. But Steve, I don't know, where are you on September 1st?
September 1st, I think we're
on the road?
I don't think we will be. I think we're going to be actually breaking, and I think we're going to be we're actually going to be rebooking Ontario. So we'll be in Ontario.
Okay, because on September 1st, it's TMLXX. That's the 10th Toronto Mike listener experience. And it's at Great Lakes Brewery here in Southern Etobicoke, 6 to 9 p.m.
I will be there.
All FOTMs are welcome. It would be amazing to see you there. Would Lucy show up? Because tell her Palma Pasta's feeding everybody who shows up. Like, you're going to get a free meal out of this.
I think that she would like that. I think she'd be totally down with
She
that.
enjoys Italian food, right?
Oh yes, of course. Well, she's got Mama's food, but yeah, she does give this props. So she likes.
She's giving it a
lasagna.
thumbs up. Right?
She is
Next to
very
Mama's,
much,
it's the
very
best
much
thing
so.
going. So thank you, Palma Pasta, for feeding everyone at TMLXX. Thank you, Great Lakes Brewery, for hosting. They've been amazing for this program. Everyone knows if you do enjoy craft beer, Great Lakes is the beer of choice of all FOTMs. Thank you, StickerU.com, for several years of amazing support, helping to fuel the Real Talk here. They're amazing. Go to StickerU.com, upload your On logo, your image, and then they'll send you your quality stickers and decals and stuff, and just plaster these On stickers everywhere, Steve. That's the marketing, the guerrilla marketing campaign.
Absolutely. Still down with that.
For you guys. Steve, do you smoke weed?
I do not, but I do put it on my arm. I have a pain medication that I use. Yeah.
There's so many benefits medicinally, etc. for cannabis. You don't have to smoke it. You can drink it.
It's a wonderful plant.
Yeah, absolutely. And FOTMs know that if they're looking for cannabis or cannabis accessories, Canna Cabana will not be undersold. Over 100 locations across this country. We love Canna Cabana. And I'm working on something with Canna Cabana for TMLXX as well. So stay tuned for that. Absolutely. And shout out to Ridley Funeral Home. They've been pillars of this community since 1921. And Brad Jones there, he's not only the funeral director, but he's the host of his own podcast, Life's Undertaking. I'm lucky enough I get to be co-host of that show.
That sounds worth checking out.
Honestly, he's good.
I would like to check that out.
He's good. We did an episode recently about euchre and how it applies to life. So check it out. It's always great when Brad drops by to record a new episode. And we have a new sponsor. And I'm just soft launching them, introducing them in the intro and outro, but there's going to be a lot more detail coming. But they're Electronic Products Recycling Association. Basically, they're all about how to safely and properly recycle electronics you don't use anymore. It's funny, I'm in the Blue Rodeo studio yesterday, and I'm looking around taking pictures, and there's a lot of, not old tech, some of it's old tech. They have, just to give it an older feel, old stuff, and I'm thinking okay, this is where Electronic Products Recycling Association comes into play. They make sure that you can properly recycle this stuff, because you can't just throw it out. That's the thing about these old electronics. You shouldn't just throw them in the garbage. There's a proper way to recycle this stuff that's good for our planet and good for everybody. And they're all about that. So more detail coming soon, but it's awesome to have them on board.
That sounds great. I could use some cables to be disposed of. I think that would be a good education on that.
And how many of us have had to replace a smartphone, and then what do you do with the old smartphone?
You keep it in your drawer.
Or even old laptops. This is my daughter's old laptop, this one here, and it wouldn't update to the latest OS X. Like I guess it's so old that it wouldn't update. So a lot of stuff wouldn't work, but enough works that I can use it. But at some point, this guy's got to go. This guy I'm touching now, that no one can see it. But how do you safely and properly do that? Because I think a lot of people get lazy and just, we're going to hide this in the garbage or something. And then it'll just disappear. It'll disappear. It'll be someone else's problem. Right, Steve?
Right, absolutely.
Right. No, we're far more
so I think you're doing a good thing by getting those guys involved.
They're good people, and we're going to talk more about them later. Okay, so I just played Underdog from On, and now I want to hear some Soul Killer. Steve, I'm digging it, buddy.
Thank you.
Has Pete Fowler heard this new music yet?
Oh, yeah. Pete was in early, of
What's
course.
his review?
Well, he just basically, when I was mixing, when we were getting the record mixed with Darius and Drew and everybody, I didn't tell my producers and bandmates that I was sending stuff to Pete, because Pete is rite of passage, but I sent Pete demos, and as the record's mixed, he was in right away. And he just went and said, thumbs up, he picked Underdog as our first single, and and he picked my second and my third, and he's there.
If you play your cards right, On can play Pete's backyard. Like Pete, forget TMLXX. There's something happening there. I got invited to a show up in his backyard. It was
that's an honor. I have not been invited yet to Pete's backyard.
You need to be like A-list. Okay,
oh yeah,
Steve?
well I'm
not B-list.
I'm working on it. Yeah.
Stephen Stanley was there, for goodness sake. Shout out to Stephen Stanley.
Yeah.
Who's doing something with former Lowest of the Low bandmate Ron Hawkins, because Stephen's no longer with Lowest of the Low, but Ron Hawkins, Stephen Stanley, and Chris Brown from the Bourbon Tabernacle Choir. That's a trio doing stuff together.
Sounds happening. Yeah, I like that.
So watch your back, Blackie and the Rodeo Kings, okay? Because I feel like this is a big thing here, okay? So, who will play this great jam? Like, who the hell will play it? I'm curious how a musician today gets exposure.
Well, we have Shauna from Shameless PR. So that's Shauna. Shauna's, she's pretty good at what she does. She helped me with the marketing on the band, and
she's shameless.
And she's Shameless PR. Yeah, and we.
No, literally. No.
Yeah. We got a little bit of a thing going, and I propped up I resurrected my old label, Indestructible, which is me, and
that's the T-shirt you're wearing.
That is
so
the
when we
T-shirt
take
I'm
our
wearing.
photo by the tree,
Yes.
So you own your label.
Yes.
That's smart.
Yes, we had that back in the day, and we resurrected it. And because Shauna goes, "Who's the label?" I said, She goes, "You." I went, "Okay, Indestructible, bring it back." And here we are.
Smart. Okay, the gift exchange, by the way, was a two-way street.
Yes.
I did skip over the fact that now I want something. Do you have anything for me?
I do, and it's been gifted in a blue bag because somebody's a Leaf fan.
Yes.
Who folded them herself. Yes, and she wanted to give you these.
And that she is Lucy.
That's correct.
Okay. I'm now going in the blue bag for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And it's an Indestructible Records t-shirt.
Yep.
Awesome, buddy. Well, I'm wearing my acid test shirt right now.
And there's
I
another.
wear these with Pat. There's another one. Oh my goodness.
Oh yes.
See, this is take a note.
all
You
just
know what?
about
I
the
went to
label.
Jim Cuddy's studio. Never got any parting gifts at all.
Oh, wow.
Nothing at all.
So this
but
is-
here I am with Steve Fall.
And this
Okay.
is the new jam. That's
This is the okay. So this is the on, and I love the logo with the bolt through the O.
Thank you. Yes, Lucy's cousin.
Are you sure that's not like the Toronto Hydro logo?
Well,
No.
it could be. It could be. It could be a light switch.
Don't get a cease and desist. Okay, I love it, and I will wear it. I'll wear these with pride, and you'll
Thank
see.
you.
I mean, ask Pete what it's like. Every third day, there's a photo of me, but in a guest wearing one of the 4 Lost Indie.
Well, I have my collection
City.
of Lost Indie shirts, and I have to get on about getting some different colors.
And mine are wearing out now. Well, so is that. These are wearing out but I like how they wear and how they feel.
Thank you.
When they've been washed 100 times, and you got to earn that. I'm not going to
Yes.
fake that. You got to wear these things.
That's right. That's the idea. And
Yeah,
I have to
man.
be able to last.
So thank you so much for that gift. And
Thank you.
So back to the subject of the matter. So Shauna, I know you're saying it's like that's
Yes.
her problem or whatever, but like you live in this city.
Yeah.
Will Indie 88 play that song?
Probably if we got traction around elsewhere, which is kind of alluding to our story about the New York thing. So I think, at this point, what we have to do is we have to earn our stripes, so to speak. We have to sort of get things happening in Europe. So we've got radio play. I will be honest, we've got radio play a lot in Europe right now, in Germany.
Right. Ireland's loving you.
Ireland.
You're like David Hasselhoff for Ireland.
Ireland. This is all indie level, but
Okay.
we got some radio play in Portland. We got radio play in Iowa. We got radio play in Boston and New York City, and 3 different 4 stations in Ireland. We've got 15 stations in UK, 4 or 5 in Germany. We just started. We've only been out for 2 weeks, but the point is the plan would be obviously to be. We'd love to have Indie 8 play us, so then we could get more money for shows locally. That's sort of the idea.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
I've had over. I'm thinking
CIT
mono whales, for example, right?
Yeah.
So, but then I have to ask you a question about ageism in
Yes.
modern alt rock radio. Because
I should mention one more thing.
Yeah,
The CIUT is playing us, but it's on a feed from an American coming in, or sorry, a local Canadian lady who I think believe in, and it's American based. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, but you're on CIUT.
CIUT, yeah. There's a show that's I just got it. I looked at it and I thanked her. But there's a show that's coming in. I don't know quite about the show, if it's a fed show or what. But
Okay, so but indie, and then let's also throw in the other alt rock station in town, of course.
Of course.
We've
We don't know what
been around
happened
for a
with
long
them.
time,
We
but
don't know what happened with them.
well, let's talk about this. So 102.1 The Edge. So you got Indie 88, you got 102.1 The Edge. And they're playing music that sounds like what we just played, okay?
Yes.
I'm wondering, okay, because you're not in your 20s.
that's correct.
Is Lucy in her 20s? Because that would be wild.
She might be. I don't really know. I mean, I know that she's ageless.
Okay, so in all seriousness, though, and I don't know your
You
ages.
alluded to ageism. Yes.
Is there ageism in commercial radio when it comes to new music?
I don't know. I mean, I just think that there seems to be a lot of other alternative ways of getting the music out. I don't really know how to answer that because I haven't been invited to that kind of radio.
Well, who's
at this
the
point.
oldest artist they're playing? That like I'm not talking about. And that's the other thing too, right? If there's a band like I'll pick on Pearl Jam right now. Okay, let's say Pearl Jam, and we're both Pearl Jam fans.
Yes,
right?
of course. Yeah.
So they'll play Pearl Jam songs from 10 or Verses or Vitalogy or whatever, but they're not. They don't seem to be playing like new Pearl Jam.
No.
Maybe the new single gets a few courtesy spins or whatever, and then it kind of drops off the rotation or whatever. Like, so I'm wondering, like, legitimately, and I'm not even. I don't know if maybe I am accusing them of ageism, but is there what is the oldest artist that is heard on regular rotation on our 2 alt rock radio stations?
I really can't answer.
No, I don't.
Straight up, I don't listen to them anymore. So I mean, that's part of the reason. Maybe I like Refused. I think they're a commercial band. I guess they're not really commercial, but to me they are. I would like to hear that on the radio at 12 o'clock. I don't know if I do.
No,
Or
no.
Quicksand. Some old Quicksand be nice.
So okay, so if it's so, then I'm wondering. Okay,
Deftones.
we don't have. This is gonna be news to you as well, but much music's gone, man.
Yeah.
That's like that. That's just it's gone. So where do you Where do
Well,
you get your exposure from?
For me, I this is a world I've been getting into because we've just been doing this campaign. We're getting streaming radio and these online stations, so it's kind of cool. You can listen to a station here locally in Ontario, or if I was in somewhere in the States and I want to listen to a cool jam in Ontario, I can listen to a podcast or I can listen to an online radio. I'm listening to some radio stations in England that are playing us, and I'm getting up and I'm listening to it on my phone through my Bluetooth speaker. That's kind of neat, you know. So
No, it's all very neat. I just wonder, like, how if Acid Test morphs into On and they make some great music and they're all in their, let's say, 40s or maybe even 50s. I have no idea. If I'm pushing 50, I can do the math, right? Like, so what the hell? The game's rigged. What do you do? Does CBC pull its weight?
CBC does.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been lucky with CBC.
Good.
We've been good there. And there's been a chart. I'm trying to remember when the last campaign we did. I think it was... I don't remember what it's
But
called.
hey, listen, you're making great music. You'll let Shauna worry about all this hassle. You're on Toronto Mic right now. We just heard a couple of great On tracks, and we're talking.
And I'm honored to be here.
And a lot of people are like learning now that the dynamic duo from Acid Test is now making music as On. Like, a lot of people need to be educated that, okay, this is happening, and then they'll go dive in and then listen to some On. And again, I will embed that cool video that you got on YouTube.
Yeah, that was Sean and Lucy's iPhone in a rehearsal space in New York City, Funkadelic Studios. Our friend Lindy Gordon, who I should credit, she did a photo shoot for us, and we said, would you hold this phone while we do rehearsal so we can do a video? She goes, yeah, sure. So Lucy's cousin Mike did the editing on the video, and he did a great job.
Okay, this Lindy Gordon, you said?
Yes.
Any relation to Cam Gordon? We'll have to find out.
Could be.
The great
I'm
Cam
not sure.
Gordon.
She lives in Brooklyn. She's a nice Brooklyn lady.
Okay, but which Brooklyn? There's a Brooklyn in Whitby, or is it Oshawa? I think it's Whitby. But
No, this is Brooklyn, NYC.
This is a different. This is the other Brooklyn.
Yeah, the other one.
They got the Nets there now. Okay, so now before we say goodbye here, I want to find out like how the hell you're doing. Like we're coming off this pandemic. It sucked for all these musicians. Like, how was it for you guys?
It was brutal for us. I taught music online. Lucy is a therapist. She's an addiction therapist. So she was beyond busy, and she would do a lot of medical stuff off that, so it was tough. She was in her office and I'm in mine, and I'm teaching, and it was rough for us, but we had a break in the weather, and we went south and drove to Florida actually for a vacation, started recording there. And that's how this record started. We couldn't get it finished because Omicron hit, came back here and finished. We started in February and finished in June, and here it is. But so that was, and then we talked a little bit before about me driving to Nova Scotia and storm number 2 or 3. I don't even remember how many COVID situations we had.
Yeah,
but,
I always wanted. They kept saying, "Okay, this is wave 5, 6," and in my mind, it's all one big fucking wave.
It was. Yeah,
there were
it's all blurred.
There were parts where Omicron, for example, and we're like, "Oh, this is a lot." Oh yeah, here is the game changer of Omicron, as I recall. All of us fully vaxxed people seem to be unable to get COVID pre-Omicron. Like, it seemed like, oh, I can't even get this fucking thing with this vaccinations. And then with Omicron's like, nah, man, we infect you guys too. Like, you're not going to get us sick. And this was the whole point. We defang this sucker. You're not going to end up in the hospital or dead or whatever. But you can still get this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, so how many shots you got on you?
I've got 3.
I got 4, man. I beat you.
I'm waiting for the 4th. Yeah, I'm waiting for it.
You have to. Did you get COVID?
No, I might have on the first wave. I don't even know.
No, okay, because you can get your 4th now.
Oh, okay. So
I'm here to. This is like a public service announcement.
Well, then I will go get it. I will definitely go get it. Yeah.
So, COVID was tough, but you made that road trip to Florida, you said?
Yeah, we did a break. We went down there and on a vacation and ended up recording the start of this record. And I mean, why not? That's what you do, right? So we came back, played a couple of gigs, and that's when this virus started. Was March of 2020. We actually played 2 shows here as On to get warmed up and stuff. And the idea was to finish the record and do more shows. And then, of course, that lockdown happened. Then I took a break, went to Halifax, see my sister, and then we went back to Florida to finish because now we've started down there. And then Omicron hit, and we drove back and said, okay, let's bring our files back to Canada and just stay there and finish, recording, assuming that we're allowed to play outside. And it was rough.
And it's got to be like...
So this was a pandemic record for us.
It's a pandemic record for you.
2.5 years we spent making that record because of the virus.
And the fact that you can now tour, like, Kingston, Ottawa, Baldwin. Where's Baldwin?
Oh,
Do you know where you're going?
No, I don't.
Who's driving?
Not me.
Okay, so you're going to go into Google
It's north.
Maps and stick in
Yeah,
Baldwin.
yeah.
But
It's
I'm
north.
just wondering, I don't know that name.
Paris, Ontario, too. That's got me a little confused.
See, Paris, I've been to a wedding in Paris.
We've got a Jeep festival there Saturday, which is, what, tomorrow? Today's Friday. Yeah,
like when I'm doing QEW, kind of like you're going to Hamilton, but there's like a part where you go like more north. Like it's not far from us, that's for sure.
Okay, well that makes me hopeful. The problem is that we have to be there for sound check at 10 a.m. That's gonna be rough for us.
Well, there's no traffic at that time of day, maybe, but okay, you'll be that's awesome. But like Niagara Falls, Cambridge, Hamilton, London, like the fact that you're performing live, like you guys are on stage, making music.
Yes,
there's people banging their heads up and down, digging the jams. That, considering the 2.5 years we're
excited.
That's got to be amazing.
It's fantastic. We can't wait. The goal is to do it again in October, November if they'll have us back. That's sort of the idea.
You just want to play your music for people who love music, and
worry about the rest later.
And the rest will sort it. The rest is Shauna's problem.
Well, you know what? As we said, you were asking about ageism. We said for us, playing music and touring is a lifestyle, and that's what it is for us.
Well, the reason I brought up ageism, by the way, and I'm on the side of talent always. Okay, there's no ageism on Toronto Mike here, but when you think about the bands, the older guys, the guys in their 50s and 60s that are out there rocking, okay, like I heard a Change of Heart's going to make a new album. Okay, this bomb was dropped by Ian on the so
I can't wait.
So they're going to make new music and they're going to play it live, and I'm excited. Let's say they play the Horseshoe, okay? I'm just guessing the future. So the Change of Heart's at the Horseshoe. You're going to hear Herstory and you're going to hear Trigger and all that stuff, but you're going to hear some new stuff. I'm like, this is exciting, but that's a legacy band, right? That's a band from the 80s and 90s, and just like a legacy band. Limb Lifter. Do you remember Limb Lifter?
Of course,
I'm going to do this.
We used to play together, of
I'm
course.
working on a Limb Lifter episode, okay? But Limb Lifter, again, legacy band. All these guys, Grapes of Wrath. Like you can go down the list here. So, but On is a new entity. Like this is a 2022
brand new.
This is a brand new thing, and you're like, this is a new thing. Yeah, it's based on an old thing that you know and love called Acid Test, but this is a new thing.
That's
so
right.
here we are, and again, I'm not going to age you, I don't know, but we know, let's say 50-year-old people are, we are 50-year-old people, and this is our new thing On. That's a whole different hill to climb.
I'm hopeful because, we've been getting some of the data, and we found that what's been watching our videos and what's been downloading our stuff is between 22 to 64, which is kind of neat.
It's a big range.
It is a big range. So we're happy about that. I mean, we think we're current with our sound.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not current with our age, but we can.
And you can't do anything about age.
No.
I just wonder if you can't leave.
I play hockey twice a week. That keeps me going.
So you're playing hockey twice a week. Did that shut down for the pandemic? Sure, right?
Of course. Yeah, I just ran up and down my stairs.
So that's got, I'm thinking you
I was
can't.
not using my gym either. I was sucking. I'm in a condo. Yeah.
Well, I did promise him, maybe, Phil, I'm holding something that's a gift for you, man. So Ridley Funeral Home doesn't want you to fall in the dark or whatever.
Oh,
and
isn't that-
you
that's
always need
helpful.
this is a flashlight.
That will go into my tech box for my for my cables and stuff. This is very
I think it's very helpful. They had
I like
measuring tapes, which is also helpful.
Ooh,
But this is the new thing from Ridley Funeral Home, flashlights.
Great idea.
The idea is, okay, so you use that flashlight so you don't fall and kill yourself, and then you don't end up at their doorstep. So Ridley Funeral Home just says, we're not ready for you yet, Steve. Use the flashlight. Be safe. Okay?
They're being proactive with safety. Yeah.
That's working against them, of course, because less clients. But
they'll get you in the end. I mean, the idea is that they're just sort of like prolonging the
the inevitable. Everyone dies. I'm rewatching 6 Feet Under, and fun fact: everyone dies. Okay, Steve.
Yes.
We just live your best life, play the best hand you can of the cards
That's
you're
why I'm
dealt.
playing rock and roll.
And you're living your life. You and
That's it.
Lucy out there kicking ass, and I'm rooting hard for you. But let's talk about the. We won't call them underdogs. We'll call them underachievers here.
Yes,
Let's
the
do a little
Leafs.
closing here.
Let's talk about them. Yeah.
So are you at a point now? Let me ask you that you're a diehard, so I bet you you're not. But let's talk about this. So let's say the Leafs are playing. Let's say they're playing Nashville on a Tuesday night, regular season, obviously. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find it difficult to get up for the game? If you have nothing else in your life going on, there's nothing going on. Flip it on. Watch your Leafs. See if Austin scores a couple of goals or whatever Mitch Marner does or whatever. Okay. See how the goalie plays. Whoever the hell's going to be between the net, whatever. But this is a team that with such promise in the regular season has faltered in the first round, or if we remember Columbus, the not even first round. That was like a play-in to get into the first round, okay?
Right.
But we can't win a series. This team hasn't won a series since 2004. Do the math on that real quick, okay? That's
that's
true.
a
I
long
did that
time.
math. That's 18 years.
Yeah.
I have an 18-year-old daughter moving to Montreal next week. Love you, Michelle. My
Congratulations.
18-year-old, yes, it's exciting because she got into the program she wanted to get to at McGill.
But she's going to miss you. But she'll be home the weekends, right?
She actually, yesterday, so tonight we're having a big dinner, and she's announced to me that she'll be back for Christmas and Thanksgiving. And I think she said like that's going to be probably it.
Because
Like,
she's feeling the independence. I get it.
But I got to plan at least one, maybe two trips to Montreal to hang with her there. It's an excuse
Just
for me.
knock on her door like my sister did. She would just like show up.
Oh man, she'd kill me. I'm afraid of her. Oh, so all this is to say is that my daughter, born in July 2004, she was born after the Leafs playoff success died. Okay, so there hasn't been and I'm not blaming my daughter, except imagine being somebody going to live in Montreal to go to school who has never been alive. Forget Stanley Cup. Like, I don't know if you were born in 67. I was not.
I was not.
Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, the Leafs have never made the finals in my lifetime. Oh, join the club. There's millions of us, whatever. But imagine being an adult now, living on your own, and never being alive for a playoff round victory.
I think you would root for Nashville on Tuesday night.
Would you? So can you get up for that game? Like, will you and Lucy be watching your Leafs?
Well, last year I bought in. I was like loving the season. I was like, oh man, I hope they don't choke. And you know what? And this year I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I mean, I'm thinking like I want to see some plays. I'll just look at watching the team develop, and I think that'll be my interest because I kind of know what
We're developed. It's like I speaking for myself am so fucking sick of watching a good regular season team, an exciting regular season team that doesn't deliver in the playoffs. How many times, shout out to Lucy, your Lucy, and then, of course, the other Lucy who would hold the football for Charlie Brown, who would run in to kick it. How many times does Lucy have to pull that ball away before Charlie Brown stops running to kick that damn thing? Because that's us.
You got a point there. I mean, we could philosophize and say that they spent too much money on the top end and forgot about the back end, So what do you do, right? I mean, it's hard to find a goalie. It's hard to find some proper D. But I was always taught that you start with the goalie out. But what do you do when you get Austin? You get Austin and then you keep going. And it's a different mentality on that team, I think. I think it's a locker room thing, too.
No, I mean, Austin's great. Mitch Marner's great. And again, I'm talking about regular season, but okay. Who remind me again? I know the answer, but let's hear from you, Leaf fan. Who's between the pipes coming up?
Well, we have... Jeez. See, look, there you go. I've already lost interest. So, at this point, I think we have... Oh, well, I'm drawing a blank. Why am I drawing a blank on that?
Because it's live.
We had the guy from Washington, don't we have? Isn't that? Yeah.
Yeah, there's two. Okay, so
it's a Russian dude, I think. I don't want to be disrespectful.
We know, heaven forbid we're disrespectful. So the guys are named Samsonov and Murray are the
that's
two
what I
guys.
was thinking of. Yeah,
Matt Murray's the guy.
Murray, from Ottawa.
Matt Murray coming in. That was kind of the big signing. And then Samsonov, and I don't know how he pronounces that name, but he's
Samsonov.
So those two guys. So this is basically.
I'm excited about Samsonov.
Okay, but what has you excited about Samsonov?
Well, he's good for a first, second. He can stop the first one. He's got a good angle on him. He does his angles well. He's good for first two shots. I don't know about the third.
But he's only good for $1.8 million contract. Like, I mean, and he's 20. Well, no, okay, I see here. Okay, so he's 25 years old, so that's not so bad. But Ilya Samsonov signed for a $1.8 million one-year contract. Mm-hmm. He was 23, 12, and 5 with a 3.02 goals against average with the Capitals last season. Okay, so the Campbell's in Edmonton now. Mrazek was a bust, and he's gone. Mm-hmm. So, it's going to be Matt Murray and Samsonov carrying the weight.
And I think their philosophy is just, let's just get in and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's always the philosophy.
That's what it is, So you wonder if it's just a business, right? Maybe. I don't know.
See, now you've got me upset, Steve, because I don't want to be that guy. But,
I am hopeful about Samsonov. I don't know about Murray. I mean, I'm thinking if he's healthy, he could probably be a good backup.
Just remember,
even though he's been signed to be a starter.
Remember this, okay? Hope is a dangerous thing, okay? Be careful out there, Steve. I am not as hopeful as you are about the Leafs next season, but that's just because I pay attention to history. Okay,
well,
and I live it, man. I'm with you. I just
repeats itself. I think you're right. Yeah,
dude. I hope history repeats itself with On, because Acid Test is great. Does Acid Test have a future still?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you
We've
mentioned that, right?
Yeah, we definitely got some more stuff. Yeah.
Okay, and On, you're just getting started, but you're on the road, and I urge all FOTMs to check out On, and that was onmusic.ca.
That's correct.
Dude, I love catching up with you, man. You
Likewise.
don't be a stranger. And I can't believe I can start promoting that Steve Fall will be at TMLXX. That's amazing.
I love that. Yeah, isn't that amazing? I mean, hey, no COVID. There we go. We can go actually do things.
Well, we did last August. Where were you then? Come on, I was looking for you in the crowd.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, maybe I was a little bit shy.
Okay, well, you were outdoors, everybody. That's the other thing, too. Everyone, we're outdoors. But awesome. Give my love to Lucy.
I will.
And thank you so much for those T-shirts, buddy. That's amazing.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that brings us to the end of our 1098th show. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Toronto Mike. Steve, are you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter.
You are at Steve Fall. What is your handle?
Oh, wait. Let me just look
Okay,
at
he's
that.
going to look that up. While he looks that up, because we're going to do you last. Our friends at Great Lakes Brewery are at Great Lakes Beer. Palma Pasta is at Palma Pasta. Now I'm hungry. Sticker U is at Sticker U. Electronic Products Recycling Association are at EPRA_Canada. Ridley Funeral Home are at Ridley FH. And Canna Cabana are at Canna Cabana _ Steve Fall. I could probably find it before you can.
You know what? At On Band Official. That's where you can find me. And I'm linked to that myself, too. So On Band Official is probably the easiest one to remember.
Okay, everybody, follow them. And remember, when in doubt, go to onmusic.ca.
And click on Twitter.
Click on Twitter. See you all next week.
Wants me today, and your smile is fine, and it's just like mine, and it won't go away, 'cause everything is rosy and gray. Well, I've been told that there's a sucker born every day, but I wonder who, yeah, I wonder who. Maybe the one who doesn't realize there's 1,000 shades of gray. 'Cause I know that's true, yes I do. I know it's true, yeah. I know it's true. How much are they picking up trash and they're putting down roads? And they're brokering stocks, the class struggle explodes. And I play this guitar just the best that I can. Well, maybe I'm not, and maybe I am. Who gives a damn? Because everything is coming up rosy and gray. Yeah, the wind is cold, but the smell of snow warms me today. And your smile is fine, and it's just like mine, and it won't go away. 'Cause everything is rosy and gray. Well, I've kissed you in France, and I've kissed you in Spain. And I've kissed you in places I better not name. And I've seen the sun go down on Shakra